I believe with coaches that they earn their credits, they earn their credibility. So when Rich Rod would say, don't worry about the rankings, these are all okay G's, and when every player is a Maurice Lee that looks like me and never does anything, I'm not going to really take that at face value. Jedd Fisch has built a good percentage of this team based off overlooked 3-star players that they have developed in that Kyle Whittingham mode. You just look at the famed 2022 class. Everybody talks about T-Mac, rightfully so. Noah Fafita, 3-star, not a lot of offers. Jacob Manu, 3-star, not a lot of offers. Wendell Moy, 2-star. Takario Davis, not a lot of offers. I give him, if whatever he thinks at this stage and this staff thinks, I'm in on Sheer.
Yeah, I mean, look, I fully understand the disappointment in this class as it stands now. And I think part of it is people assume that the success of this season would translate to this class. And I've said this before, but usually it's a class ahead. So the success of this season should translate to the 2025 class. If the 2025 class is bad, I would be very surprised. But you got to trust the evaluation of this staff. I mean, they've shown enough. They've earned it. Like you mentioned, there's been multiple guys that aren't ranked very highly or weren't ranked very highly that turned out to be the best contributors. And in Arizona history, the guys that have been ranked the highest are the ones that have fallen the hardest for the most part. So, I mean, you got to trust the staff and you got to realize that, recruiting is different now. Like the transfer portal makes everything different. It's how your class looks in August versus how your class looks in December.
All right, everybody likes the star system, so we're going to start with the highest rated players. There's 3 players that we're going to focus on here. DeMond Williams, first and foremost. Great Jacob Franklin. If you could maybe pull up these highlights from DeMond Williams. Best quarterback in the entire state of Arizona. I got to give your right-hand man, Scott Schlittenhardt, a lot of credit on this one. Even when DeMond was committed to Ole Miss, he said, don't worry, he's going to come to the U of A. He stood resolute. And this kid's a big-time talent. Again, he's a little shorter. In college, I don't really care about that. He's got a big arm. He can move around. There is a lot to like about him. Do we know, is he an early enrollee, though?
Yes, he is.
All right. That is a very good thing. Again, this is Noah Fafita's job for as long as Noah Fafita's here. But a couple years, a redshirt year, and some some strength training, DeMond Williams is going to be ready to go. He's a big-time pickup.
Yeah, this is another one of those cases where even though he was committed to Ole Miss, if DeMond Williams was 6'1", 6'2", he would literally have had his choice of any school in the country. He's mobile, but he's not a running quarterback. He's just mobile. And in high school, it works well. He can really throw the ball. His mechanics are good. Today, he announced that he's been invited and accepted an invite to the Army All-American Bowl. So that's going to be pretty cool. He's going to be on national television as an Arizona signee. The kid is really good, and I would assume that he is the future of this position. We've mentioned it before, Mike, but Noah Fafita, now you have DeMond Williams, Brandon Dorman was highly rated. They have Dash Barely, who's probably going to be a 4-star commit when it's all said and done in the 2025 class. Jedd Fisch in quarterbacks, he just recruits them at a high level.
We will not ever worry about quarterbacks, wide receivers, or running backs as long as Jedd Fisch is here at the University of Arizona. I think that I speak for you on that one, Jason Shear. Is this true?
Yes, it is true.
Yes. And DeMond, Mike. Yeah, that is true. That is true. All right. Now, speaking of which, I tell you this, so I can tell you this. Jordan Washington, kid out of Los Angeles, maybe the fastest player in the country. A lot of people have asked me, is he kind of like Speedy Luke? A little bit, kind of the same type of build. Obviously a little bit undersized, but super, super fast. I don't know that I see him contributing this coming year because I think that's going to be Speedy's bailiwick, but Brandon Johnson in there as well. But this kid's also got a big time future, and I think Scotty Graham has got to be very happy to be working with this young man.
As fast as Speedy Luke is, Washington's actually faster. Like he's like right. He really is faster. I mean, he is as fast as it gets for a football player, and it's there's track speed and there's football speed. He maybe it wouldn't surprise me if he found a way on the field as a freshman because of his ability, but He's a dude where he was just on, like you see in the highlights, there wasn't anyone in his league that could touch him. I mean, it just wasn't happening. He is a very highly rated player for a reason.
And I got to give the coaching staff a lot of credit on this young man, because there were a lot of schools, you and I both know who, that were recruiting this guy till the very end, hoping to be able to flip him. Because again, you watch the highlights, you see his rankings. I mean, this isn't an OKG. This is a player that could have gone pretty much anywhere he wanted to a certain extent. Maybe not the Bamas of the world, but you get what I'm saying. And Arizona was able to hold on to him. It's almost like they continued to recruit him after he committed, Jason Shearer.
Yeah, and what's interesting about Jordan Washington is, like, he was one of the first signees. Like, he signed early, and yeah, there were schools that were coming after him. This is a kid where, you know, you wonder why UCLA and USC weren't on him more, and they'll look back on it and wonder why they weren't on him more also. And he's really good. And like you mentioned, again, like, we don't worry about the running back room under Jedd Fisch.
We don't worry about it, and Jedd Fisch has certainly given us the reason. Now, somebody that I've multiple people have told me they believe will be the best player in this class. And again, it's all fluid. Take it for what it's worth. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what. Rashawn Clark. I had something was stuck in my throat. Rashawn Clark out of Seattle. He's coming in here as a cornerback, 4-star kid, depending on where you look at on the services. Here's what we have to realize, ladies and gentlemen. We're not used to having players leave early for the NFL. There is a very distinct possibility that Ephesians Prysock and Takario Davis could both be first, second, or third round picks next year. Arizona has to be able to get players in here that can stick in and that can make it, that can essentially come in and be that extra player. Rashawn Clark is that dude, along with Jordan Shaw, who we're going to get to in a little bit. This is a very, very nice pickup, and it would not surprise me at all if he does turn out to be the best player in this class.
So it was interesting today during the press conference. Jedd Fisch said, you know, the reason we loaded up on corners and secondary players because we're losing our whole secondary after next season. And he goes, well, definitely the safeties. Like, they're absolutely planning for Davis and Prysock to be, you know, early entrants. If they're not, awesome. And if they are, you be prepared for it. Rashawn Clark is a bad dude. I mean, He is really, really good. They add him. You know, they add Shaw. Like, and the thing with even Shaw that you mentioned, and these guys are young. Like, they're not, and that's the difference between high school and portal and all that. Like, I don't know how much Clark is going to play as a freshman, but I know that he's really good. He's got great ball skills. He's not afraid to hit, and he wanted to be a wide receiver at Cal, and Arizona did a nice job of selling him on why his pro career is at corner. He accepted it, and they got a very, very good one.